I see you're a connoisseur of stickers, so I figured I need to give you some of my stickers, but you don't have to put them on your car. I just wanted to give them to you.
I mean, we have a little white area where it's...
Oh my God.
Right there.
It's like I'm shooting your car while you're driving, and I'm shooting your car from the outside too.
I like it. Let's do it right now.
It's like a lot of shootception going on. Yeah. Oh.
This is the best part of having a race car.
Oh, I'm just peeking out of your race car. So I know for sure, Nads, RIP. So sorry you can't make it here. This is probably one of your favorite cars, but don't worry, we're featuring it for you. I'm gonna try to channel your Honda nerdiness, although I am a car nerd. I'm just not a Honda nerd like you are. With that said, we're at Gridlife.
We're at Gridlife.
Aren't you excited to be at Gridlife?
I'm excited to be here in 2020 at Gridlife Midwest Festival in frigid October, but we're here.
You know, the thing is, it's first of all, it's usually hot AF
yeah.
over here for the Gridlife Midwest Festival. This, unfortunately, isn't really, it's a motorsport festival, but the music part of it was taken out of it.
Yeah.
With that said, you know, I'm still excited, I'm still happy, and I know you are too, to be here to enjoy cars.
It's all motorsport.
Yeah.
You know, that's our side of it.
All right, so you obviously have this beautiful Honda CRX. I don't know how much CRX is actually left on this.
That's still CRX. That's still from the 80s. That's a nice canvas to hang all the bodywork on. All the fiberglass can hang off of it. That's about it.
I posted a picture of your car last night on Instagram, and a bunch of people right away commented how much they love the old school Coors livery.
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Is that what it's based off of?
It is.
Really?
Guilty. Yeah, the Bill Elliott Coors car. So the car, when I got it, and I think for a long time, it was red on the top, white on the bottom. That's an old, I think 80s two-tone paint job that the car actually came with. I've seen some street cars with it. So that's what the last owner put on the car. And I took all his logos off and I stickered it up, and it was like, it was my car, but I was like, all right, we need to do something different. So during quarantine, we played a ton of iRacing, then the Gridlife iRacers all year. And I started painting the cars because I wasn't racing my own race car. And I came up with that Coors kind of throwback livery because I already got the red and white. I just need to put that nice gold stripe on it. And I turned my iRacing race car now back into my real race car. So it was like full circle. It's the coolest thing.
Isn't that funny how it works like that? Now it's flipped. Because before, everybody would actually take their real car or a real livery and put it into the digital world. But now you flipped it. So you built this in iRacing, and then you actually built it in real life.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
It's so nerdy. I love it.
So let's kind of go over the outside a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things right away that I notice.
Not the damage. We're mid-race weekend. We're the end of the season mid-race weekend. This thing was way nicer looking in January, February.
So tell us about the outside. And what is it exactly now? So it's tube chassis?
It's all tube chassis. Despite the hard roof, it's all tube chassis underneath. So this car was a new showroom car in the mid-early 80s. I actually don't know the exact date. It was always a race car. So I have the logbook going back to like 86 in Atlanta. So it was built, I think it had like steel fender flares. It ran SCCA GT4. You might remember that Mugen GT4 first gen CRX is like the iconic old school CRX. It ran in the same races that did. It was like a couple rows back. So the car has tons of history, and I think it evolved over its lifetime. Won a championship in 2004 at Mid-Ohio, and then I bought it in 2016. I sold my beloved Integra that was like, my nickname is Teal, my Teal Integra. Everybody's like, why are you getting rid of it? And then this showed up and nobody cared anymore. Yeah, it's just too cool.
It's
still a CRX, but it's
so good looking. And so this is a GLTC race car, but you also race it in other series?
Yeah, I've been competing in SCCA, GT Light class. So if you know Trans Am cars, those big GT1 Trans Ams, tube frame, fiberglass body, big slicks. This is the entry level. This is tiny motors, small cars, less tires and brakes to burn up, a lot less expensive to run.
So for those of the viewers that don't actually know what GLTC is, can you kind of do a quick explainer?
GLTC is really Adam Jabay and the whole Gridlife community. We all grew up doing wheel-to-wheel, watching wheel-to-wheel, competing in different series, SCCA, NASA, PCA, etc. And we really just wanted to take all the best bits of all that and put it into our own event. So we have one run group, one racing class, and it's wheel-to-wheel racing. And there's no other classes to worry about. Everybody's on the same field. You don't have to look and see who's leading what class. We want to do short sprint races. All the excitement of the start of the race and the end of the race is the two best parts of a race, right? So we combine that 12 to 15 minute races. We got 4 of them this weekend.
I talked to Chris from Gridlife before this weekend. He's like, we have how many cars? 50, 55 cars or something like that?
50 cars in grid, yeah.
50 cars.
It's crazy.
And I was like, dude, pretty soon, maybe next year, you're going to have more cars than 24-hour Le Mans. You know, it's so many cars competing in this race. And honestly, I really wish something like this, something like Gridlife, existed when I was actually driving actively and kind of trying my hand at racing, because it's something to aspire to. It's something to build a car for. My favorite part of it is that it's so many different type of cars competing in the same class,
so
right?
many cars.
You have Miatas. I saw a Camaro yesterday. BMWs, Corvettes,
BMWs.
front wheel drive this, front wheel drive that. Some
Mixed manufacturer motor swaps. That's a big one.
So many things, and somehow something like this can be competitive. Obviously, there's really nothing left, I guess.
I got a little asterisk on my car. So I've been around forever, and I'm working staff, one of the lead instructors, and helping with GLTC as well. My car is an exhibition class. So that tube frame there is a rule in there to run a tube frame with some weight penalties, but I'm choosing to run it as my SCCA car, and that's kind of Adam's judgment. Like, okay, it's competitive, it's not overpowered, let's do it. So you can't exactly show up with a tube frame car, but I'm trying to work on power to weight, and we're open to getting new cars in the class. For example, the guy showed up with a C5 Corvette. Nobody showed up with a competitive car with a really detuned V8 running on big street tires. So he has the big tires for the weight. He has the power down. He can compete against our small cars. So it's really about balancing that and evolving the class as we go. I mean, this is the second year, and it's huge.
So, and I remember like the first races were maybe like 5 cars, 10 cars?
Sometimes like 10 to 20 cars.
Right.
Yeah, like Alpine, we travel out west for a new event, less cars, but and then after that, Road America last month, we were at Road America too. We had 40 cars take the grid.
Yeah.
And this is our next biggest event, 50.
Well, this event, it was so many cars that there wasn't enough room on the grid. You know, it being Gridlife, you're like grid last. All
you
the way
don't want
out.
a grid last.
Yeah, you're all the way out. I mean, like, I remember, I think it was qualifying, I saw everyone line up, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just not enough room for all these cars. And they started lining up outside of the grid. It's just so many cars. And some of the cars, honestly, they just look like stock cars that they just drove off the street. And then you have something crazy like this NASCAR over here.
Little baby NASCAR.
Yeah. Can we take a look at the engine?
Yeah.
All the race car things. When in NASCAR, you have to have a pit crew.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
The best crew.
The best crew. Oh, wow. All right, so what am I looking at here?
We're looking at a Honda first-gen CRX engine. It's kind of the grandfather to the D series motor. Single cam, but it's 12 valve per cylinder. So we got 2 intake valves, 1 exhaust valve. That's why we have the kind of goofy looking headers and spark plugs. And the reason we're still running it has 30 years of racing development behind it. When I got the car, I knew it was an older motor. It's hard to find parts, but the knowledge and like development that went in it, we're able to just basically run this thing every weekend, hard, and keep staying alive.
Wow.
Dual Weber carburetors.
I can't believe it's carbureted.
It's still carbureted. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's so crazy. So do you have to like tune it? Do you have to like rejet it?
Yeah, my tuner is my flathead screwdriver and an O2 sensor.
No, but I get that. But like, do you have to retune it for different tracks?
Only we could make small adjustments, but honestly, the car's been running so good. Every time I'm like, hey, you guys want to throw new jets in it? I'm like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
If
But
it ain't
does a
broke,
really good
don't
job.
fix it. So tell me, I mean, and what does this rev out to then?
So this motor's 1.5 liter, and for SCCA rules, we're running a 25 millimeter restrictor.
Oh.
Less than an inch.
That's such a baby little restrictor.
All the air going into the engine goes through this little restrictor.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
So it chokes the engine down. It runs lower RPM, but it's less stress on the motor, so you're able to run them a long time. So this one only revs about 7 grand. I had a 1.3 liter unrestricted that revved to 8,500, 9 grand.
So how much power is it making with this restrictor?
Those restrictor sizes, you're at around 170 horse.
Still 170
Yeah.
horse out of this.
No restrictor would be, I think, 200 plus.
Huh? Have you run it with? You could probably run in.
So we had our jets for the carburetor. We went to the biggest one on the dyno and like popped the cover off of the airbox, and I had to back off because it was still running lean. So it would have made it probably over 200.
Huh? That's pretty cool. I mean, that's great for something like this. How much does this weigh?
So the car, I think, with no driver, no ballast, is around 1,600 pounds.
No way.
Yeah, it's super
That
light.
much?
It's mega light.
That's like really. That's like a go-kart.
Yeah, so we got a little ballast in it right now, and plus driver, so we're a little under 1,900 pounds for race weight.
That's not
with me in it.
ballast.
That's ballast.
Oh my God, I can't believe how light it is. I mean, I guess there's really nothing going on here.
Yeah, tiny brakes, 13-inch wheels. Yeah, it's all about lightness, less inertia.
Amazing. This is so far beyond anything that I understand.
It's ridiculous.
But I
yeah.
can appreciate it so much. I just think it's so cool. This is a legitimately fast front-wheel drive race car.
It is. We've done a ton of development with iBach. We went through 2 buckets of springs since I've had the car, trying different things out. When I got the car, I think it had like 125 pound per inch springs on the back, which is like, you could almost feel like you can compress it with your arms. And now we're at like 600 or something like that. So just learning what the car likes, changing roll centers, throwing springs at it, took the front bar off to get traction out of the corners. Ton of development, small little tweaks every other event, and now we're at the point where I got springs in the truck to change, but we haven't had to touch them because it's really working well.
Is this an actual real wood splitter?
Yeah, it is.
So why,
$25, man.
Why wood? Because you break them pretty often? Or?
I had an ABS plastic one because that's I think the old car had, and it started vibrating so hard at speed at VIR that we had to basically cut it away. So I talked to Eric Coutil. It's like, hey, what did you use on your splitter? And he said, birch, I think it was, or some wood. It's sanded, it's nice. So we just threw some Bombay mahogany stain on it, and it looks very classy now.
So even with this little bit of room for the radiator, it's enough to cool it down, huh?
Yeah, we actually had to open it up at VIR last year because we were over-temping, so we learned a little bit. This whole air dam's new. Behind it is actually a really nice looking fiberglass lip, like concave first-gen CRX looking front end. But this, with the splitter, just makes so much more downforce and less drag that we got to run it.
What are these for?
So these are the brake ducts.
Okay.
It's so cold this weekend, the brakes and the races are short. So we left the hoses off, but normally we just hook them up to this little carbon fiber scoop.
Oh, I see. Okay. Huh. Wow. It's just, everything is just, it's definitely all function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Let's move to the back here.
Yeah.
What is all of this here? What is that for?
All this.
No, this what's enclosed in here?
Yeah. Should we pop it off, or it's just a fuel tank basically?
Oh, why is it so big though?
So behind or underneath of this, if you were laying under the car, like you're in a creeper, you can reach your arms all the way up. So the bottom of the car goes all the way up there, but that's because the suspension, it's a tube frame, so it has a solid axle suspension on the back. You could probably dip your camera back there and check it from the back, from the bottom.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Might be a little dark, but
I can kind of see.
Gold panhard bar.
Oh. So, okay. It is a fuel cell. Huh. You're running a full battery, surprisingly, huh?
I don't have an alternator.
Oh.
Yeah. So we actually put a second little baby battery in parallel with the original battery for the night race and night racing, so I know my lights aren't gonna pull the ignition system or anything.
Yeah, because underglows are back.
And I got underglows.
Yeah, underglows.
Party mode is on.
It actually looks great with the underglow. I got a great photo of you last night. I think one of the few photos that I got at all because it was so dark.
Got dark quick.
Of you going around, I think it was turn 4. But it just looked so cool because, first of all, I could see pretty much completely through your car because it is tube chassis. It almost looks like it's floating, right?
And the rain tires are tall too, so it kind of sits up off the ground. Yeah. It's kind of goofy looking with rain tires on it.
These wheels are pretty cool. Tell me about these wheels.
13-inch Panasports.
For racing purpose only. So what's the difference between something like this and a street tire, though?
I think it's probably more certification. These are all from the UK. So I don't really know. I got 4 sets of wheels with the car, and they're so cool. I don't ever want to change them. The rain tires are on those Compomotive turbos, which are pretty cool, old school UK wheel as well.
Are these, is it a square setup or?
It used to be. So these are a bias ply slick or a cantilever slick. So that's really big in SCCA because they don't limit the tire as much. They limit the rim size. So you can't get a bigger tire eventually. So if you notice, it's only a 7-inch wide wheel, but they hang out so far. You run these type of tire.
Oh yeah, I see that.
They're kind of squishy.
It's almost like they extended the wheel on the tire side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So this is an 8-inch wide on the back, and the front's a 9.5. So I do run a stagger setup for heat. So these come up to temperature faster, and then once the fronts start to fall away, the rears can kind of fall away with the fronts.
Let's take a look at the interior. Can you go on that side? So what's under this?
So under that is the dry sump oil tank. So it has a dry sump oil system. So you can see the big hoses kind of by the fuel or fire extinguisher there.
And then this is like an oil cooler or something?
So you see that where that hose goes on the inside? It goes up under the windshield.
Uh-huh.
So this tube with holes in it, whenever I hit blower, that's my defroster for the rain.
Oh, and then so the blower's in here?
And the oil gets hot, so it's like a little heated box with a fan. It's super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really, you're like, utilizing, I guess, wasted energy.
Yeah.
For something.
It's all about heat management.
Yeah, that's great. I like this. This is cool. So this is a race car thing. Hours on the motor, I'm guessing?
Exactly. So we did mess up one thing we got to change. To put the sweet underglows on in the pit, and look really cool for all the car shows. I had to turn the master switch on, which also runs the hour meter, so. Like, man, we got a lot of hours in this motor. I'm like, no, you got to look at like beginning to end of the race. We record everything before and after every race.
Right. Well, because
so we know.
On grid you got to look cool. And then,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Huh.
Yeah. Full custom dog box, custom gear sets, Mugen diff in it. So this thing, you just breathe off the throttle, just the littlest bit, and pick a gear, and it's basically already in there. It's pretty intense.
It's a 5-speed then?
It's 5-speed, yes. And I can change the 5th gear basically between sessions. It's on the outside of the case. So we can change it for top speed. So here the top speed's pretty low, so we put a short 5th gear in to pull down the end of the straight, and it's worked.
Huh. What is the party switch? Is that the underglow?
That's underglows.
Oh. Party, blow, and wipe afterwards. And then maybe
front to back,
rain.
back to front. Yeah.
Maybe rain a little bit. So how often are you actually, is that the brake bias?
Yeah.
How often are you changing it during actual race?
So whenever it rains, you don't get that weight transfer of all the weight jumping on the front. So you actually want to crank that towards the rear in the rain so that the rear brakes do a little more work. You just don't want to go too far, otherwise you go sideways when you hit them, which is usually what I'm trying to do actually in the turns. Try to get some rotation out of it.
You know, this thing is so cool. I love this build so
Thank
much.
you.
I don't even, there's just so much going on. I mean, we can probably talk about this thing for an hour. Well, yeah, tell us about the pedal box here.
Yeah, tilt and pedal box, floor mount. So that's new a couple years ago. Built this nice little false floor. But that was like a huge improve on braking feel. And then I was able to put that brake bias adjuster in there and turn it properly on the fly.
This has it's gotta be cold for you when you're running in these night races. I mean, because first of all, there's no windows. And second of all, there's every bit of air escaping onto the inside of the cabin.
I may have hit a puddle at Mid-Ohio earlier this year, unintentionally, and my entire left leg got soaked, so we might have to seal that off.
Because I can see the outside from here, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't go through to the firewall, but the fender water can get around. Yeah, so always room for improvement. So.
Weight savings.
That's right. It's light.
It is, it's so incredible. I love this so much. I mean, because this is an old school race car build, but with modern touches.
Yeah, and that's what we've been trying to do. I mean, there's tons of talks about what we can do with the motor, putting in something more modern. And then you fire this thing up, you're like, why? This super high compression race motor is just so cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
When it needs work or replacement, then that's where the dollars and time come in. So
we'll keep following you this weekend. You have like a fun little battle coming up soon, right?
Top 10 shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to watch.
Everybody gets one flying lap. It's intense. We did that at Mid-Ohio, and I got to do it. And I put down my best lap on that one flyer.
Because you swapped this out, right? You're like, what, yoink?
If I was smart, I would do that, but...
This is like a rental car thing, you know? You as soon as you get the rental car, you
pop
the air box. Where does the exhaust come out of?
So the exhaust is a dump. It's right through the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
So it dumps right behind the driver in the middle of the car, so...
It's like
Here's
sound
a
everywhere.
Cool race car trick. Throw a starter up here.
Wow, that sounds so good. It revs so quick too.
1.5 liter.
Huh. Wait, so you could start this from? Oh, okay. This little button right here.
No, that's just for the hood.
Oh.
But you can reach it.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to give it a little something? You know you want to. It's satisfying, yeah. Push it that way.
It's crazy. It's like it glitched out. For some reason, it glitched this out. I wonder what's going on.
Might be these wires.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's what it is. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, it's revving fast then. So when you're driving this is one thing that I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah.
So I've had a chance to follow many racing drivers over the years, including a really good buddy of mine, Charles Ng, who competed in World Touring Challenge, right? When I guess maybe it depends on the track or it depends on what you're trying to achieve, but are you actually heel towing in this thing?
Yeah. So with the dog box, I don't have to. I've done a qualifying lap at VIR for the championship where I left foot broke like a go-kart the entire lap. And you just do a blip on upshifts, and then on downshifts while you're braking, you just need to give your right foot a little blip and push the gear lever into gear. It'll go, but it's just a little more harder on equipment. So I try to use the clutch as much as I can just to keep the gearboxes alive. The gearbox is the weak link because everything's so tiny. So But I absolutely heel toe in it.
From what I mean, I guess like I said, it's different for every track, different for car, obviously. When we Charles, he gave me a ride in S2000, and he's actually doing heel toe, but he told me in his race car, you just jam it in.
I mean, because that's like
the fastest. That's the fastest way to do it.
But is he also paying for his transmission?
That's true. Good point.
It took me breaking one or two of those to be nicer to it.
Right. I mean, and realistically, how much more time are you making up, right?
Not much. For me, it's about comfort. I'm a lot more comfortable left foot braking and blending the throttle and brake together. So whenever I can do that, I'm more comfortable and I can balance the car a little better. So in that case, that's where I can do it. If I'm in a real sticky situation where I left foot broke and now I can't switch feet to downshift, I can bang it into gear if I need it. So it's there for you.
Sticky situation. On that note, I think that is a wrap. Sticky situations. Thank you so much.